It was one of those evenings when the sky blushed with shades of gold and crimson, the horizon melting into a gentle twilight. A luxury black sedan cruised down a lonely countryside road, its glossy body gleaming against the fading sun. Inside sat Alina Shah, a woman known across the city as one of the youngest self-made millionaires. She was beautiful, elegant, and carried herself with the confidence of someone who had built empires from nothing but ambition. Yet, behind her sharp business suit and diamond earrings, her heart carried a weight no fortune could ease. Her phone had died hours ago, and now, miles away from the city, her car coughed, sputtered, and stopped dead in the middle of nowhere. Alina pressed the ignition again and again, but the engine refused to roar back to life. Frustration welled up inside her. Of all days, why today? She muttered, glancing around. There was no signal, no passing cars, no sign of help. Just endless fields swaying in the evening wind. She stepped out in her heels, the gravel crunching under her feet. The silence of the countryside was deafening compared to the constant buzz of city life. And then, from a distance, she noticed a man walking along the dirt road. He was carrying a wooden hoe over his shoulder, his shirt worn and patched, his skin darkened by years under the sun. His boots looked as if they had seen 100 seasons. He stopped when he saw her and gave a polite nod. "Car trouble, madam?" he asked, his voice steady, humble. Alina hesitated, unaccustomed to strangers who didn't already know her name or her worth. "Yes, it just stopped working. I don't suppose you know anything about cars." The man smiled faintly. "I know about tractors. Engines are engines. I can take a look." Without another word, he bent down and lifted the hood of her luxury car. His hands were rough and calloused, yet gentle in the way they worked. After a few minutes, he stepped back. "It's nothing serious. Your battery's drained. I can't fix it here, but I can help push it to my farm nearby. You can wait until morning. There's a mechanic who comes to our village." Alina blinked. She had never imagined herself pushing her expensive car alongside a poor farmer down a dirt road, but in that moment she had no choice. Together they moved the car slowly, her designer heels sinking into the soil. By the time they reached his small farmhouse, the sky was painted with stars. The farmhouse was nothing like the world she came from. It was small, with walls made of mud and bricks, its roof patched with tin sheets. Chickens clucked nearby, and the smell of wood smoke lingered in the air. A woman stood at the doorway, wiping her hands on her apron, her eyes filled with curiosity. Beside her peeked two little children, their faces lighting up when they saw Alina's car. "This is my wife, Nargis, and my children," the farmer introduced. "My name is Arif." Alina forced a polite smile, though inside she felt out of place. She was used to penthouses, chandeliers, and city lights, not mud floors and wooden stools. But when Nargis invited her inside, she couldn't refuse. They offered her food: simple lentils, homemade bread, and fresh milk. At first, Alina wanted to decline. She wasn't used to such meals. But when she saw the children eagerly watching her, waiting to see if the rich stranger would eat what they cherished, her heart softened. She took a bite. And for the first time in years, she tasted something that wasn't seasoned with luxury, but with love. That night, Alina lay awake on a simple cot they had arranged for her. Through the thin roof, she could see the stars twinkling. She couldn't remember the last time she had looked at the night sky without skyscrapers blocking her view. She felt human again. The next morning, Arif took her car battery to the village mechanic. While waiting, Alina joined Nargis in the kitchen. She watched how the woman managed everything with so little, stretching a handful of rice to feed 4 mouths, mending clothes with patience, and smiling through it all. The children showed her their school books, though their pages were worn and incomplete. Alina's chest tightened when she realized they were learning with less than what she spent on a single cup of coffee in the city. When Arif returned with the fixed battery, Alina's car roared back to life. She was ready to leave, but something inside her wouldn't let her. She turned to Arif and Nargis. "You've shown me kindness when you had so little to give. Tell me, what is your biggest struggle?" Arif hesitated, but Nargis spoke softly. "Our children walk miles to school. The building is crumbling. They dream of becoming doctors, teachers, but—" Her voice trailed off. Alina's throat tightened. She remembered her own childhood, growing up in poverty before fortune changed her life. She saw her reflection in those children, the hunger to dream bigger even when the world was small. She placed her hand on Arif's shoulder. "You helped me when you didn't have to. Let me return that kindness." Over the next weeks, Alina returned to the village again and again. She used her resources to repair the school, buy books, and even fund a small clinic. At first, the villagers were wary. What would a millionaire want with them? But as they saw her working alongside them, painting walls, carrying supplies, and laughing with the children, they began to trust her. Yet challenges came. Investors in her company questioned her sudden absences. Journalists speculated why a wealthy businesswoman was spending time in a poor village. Her friends mocked her, saying charity was for show, not for one's soul. But Alina stood firm. Money means nothing if it doesn't bring light to someone's darkness, she told them. Months later, the village school stood tall, freshly painted, filled with books and eager children. The clinic began saving lives. And Arif, once a poor farmer, now worked part-time managing the cooperative Alina helped establish so farmers could sell their crops at fair prices. On the day of the school's reopening, Alina cut the ribbon. The children clapped and cheered, their eyes shining with hope. Arif stood beside her, his face glowing with pride. He whispered, "You came to us because your car broke down, but I think fate brought you here for a greater reason." Alina smiled, tears in her eyes. She had set out that day as a millionaire stranded in the countryside, but she had found something priceless: purpose. And as she drove away from the village, she didn't feel like she was leaving. A part of her heart now belonged there, among the fields and the people who had shown her what true wealth looked like.